kind of helps it is the fact that you get that offense in practice. He said actually practice is harder than actual games because you don't see that.
I want to do Miami.
Definitely going against the best receiver group.
But I have promised me he would do it, but he wouldn't let me do it.
I mean, we can't expect not to give them any touchdowns. Those good receivers out there.
It makes y'all better though, don't it? That when you go up against that kind of competition. I mean, so when you are out there on a Saturday, you're not intimidated by nobody.
Yeah, when you
practice is way harder than the games. Just the matchups in particular, like us going up against guys like Mike Williams, John Kane, our team shot. And we go out there and go against other guys. It's really a drop off for those guys, so it's easier.
Do you remember when you were a freshman and you were having to go up against these kind of wide receivers? I think you went up against Sammy and Nuke and those guys. So you talked to those guys, these young guys, about, hey, this is how you learn, because I had to take my lumps too?
Yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, if you're going to get beat in practice, like get beat in the game, you know what I'm saying? That's what the best thing about Saturday was it was just practice. So we definitely have time to work on those things.
Best player in your team, best player probably in your area.
Everybody talks about you as being a new starter, but do you feel like a new starter considering how many snaps you've played in your career here and how many games you've been in?
I mean, the experience is good, but I definitely feel like a new starter because it's just different going out there playing the whole game, you know what I'm saying? Just getting the feel of the game from start to finish. You know, a lot of times I got in the game, the train was already rolling, so just me being out there and get it first started is definitely different. I mean, it's not too much pressure on me to go out there. It's not like I'm scared or nothing, but it'll definitely be different.
The problems that Clemson had in secondary coverage, especially with the safeties at the end of last year, well documented. Does that help to be able to watch it on film, watch it in person, and say, I'm not going to make those same mistakes?
Oh, definitely. Coach Sweeney always tells us a wise man learns from another man's mistakes. So just watching that film, me and Van, we watch it a lot just so we won't make those same mistakes.
Do you think that shows maturity? I mean, that's something that an older player would do?
Oh, definitely. Anybody who wants to be great, they'll look at the guys that were in front of them and try not to make the same mistakes that they made just to try to be better than them.
You've seen from Denzel and Tanner behind you.
Those guys look good. In particular, I think a lot of people sleep on Denzel, but he's actually a pretty good player. So he still has a lot of growing up to do mentally. And he just needs to get in that play just a little bit more, but he really looks good.
I imagine Isaiah reaches a point, like a lot of freshmen in camp, where you start swimming and things get harder to process mentally.
Yeah, a couple of guys are starting to hit the wall now, but that's normal coming in as a young guy at your first camp. But as leaders, it's our job to just get behind those boys and push them, make them get through the last few days. I always tell them to talk to themselves, don't listen to themselves. If you talk to yourself, you can get through it.
Can you imagine what Kayvon's going through? I think Coach Reynolds was saying he's truly taking equal reps, corner safety, which is hard to do, particularly at that when you've been here a few weeks.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I know it's kind of hard for him, just learning those different positions, and he's just getting here. But he's a pretty smart kid. I don't think it's too much pressure on him to learn those things. He seems pretty confident in his game.
How do you feel like you've done so far this camp?
I feel like I've done pretty good, but it's always room to get better. There's some small things that I need to work on from a technique standpoint, but overall, just with my knowledge and stuff, I feel like I've been the best that I've been. This has probably been my best camp since I've been here.
There's still a lot of positions to shake out over there. Does that create a level of frustration because there's so much uncertainty at this point in camp? I mean, would you rather it be settled, or are the guys kind of rattling around like everyone's got a shot at this thing?
I feel like we still have time. The game isn't until September 3rd, so we still have a few weeks to get things in order. I don't feel like we're too far off from where we need to be. It's just a couple of small things that we need to work on.
When you practice against the level of talent that this wide receiver core has, do you feel like that prepares you for anybody in the country?
Definitely. I feel like we're going against the best wide receivers in the country every day at practice. So when we get to the game, it'll definitely be easy.
What have you seen out of some of those younger guys, like a Trayvon Mullen and a Kayvon Wallace? Sorry, I know you've probably been asked it already, but I got in here late.
Trayvon, he looks real good. From an athletic standpoint, he looks good, just being a long corner and speed. He looks real good in man-to-man coverage. He's also real studious. He gets in that film room and he studies. Kayvon, he looks real good too. He's real versatile. I haven't really seen anybody as versatile as him coming in since Kareem. You know, he reminds me a lot of Kareem. Even with the mental standpoint, you know, Kareem, he would always watch film. Kareem, he's one of the smartest players we have on the defense. So Kayvon, just following in those footsteps, he looks pretty much like Kareem.
Going back to Paul's question, Tanner Muse, what does he need to do to catch the coach's eye? And same thing for Denzel.
With Tanner, I feel like he just needs to get in that playbook a little bit more. From an athletic standpoint, he definitely has the tools in his toolbox to get the job done. But that just comes with, you know what I'm saying, growing into the system that Coach B has, because it's not an easy system. So just with time and experience, he'll get it down.
With Isaiah Simmons' height, does he remind you of anybody?
J-Ron. I don't feel like he's as athletic as J-Ron, but he's definitely along the similar attributes of J-Ron. And
all the times he's cussed me out, he coached me hard.
Just with him, the best thing he brings to the table is his physicality. He's real physical, kind of like Tanner. But I feel like once he gets his technique down pat, he'll be a good one.
Anything you say about Nolan Turner?
Nolan looks pretty good. You know, a lot of people sleep on him too, but he looks pretty good. I don't feel like we could just throw him in right now, but he's definitely a good-looking player. I definitely see him playing in the future.
If you had to throw one of those guys in right now, who would it be?
I'd definitely probably throw Trayvon in. I'd throw him in that corner. I'd trust him at corner on my side of the field any day, just because I know if he is stuck out there on that island, I feel like I can trust him one-on-one coverage.